Welcome back to the show. Take a deep breath with me. Really let it out. As we settle in, I want you to mentally transport yourself to that final ticking hour of your workday. You're ready to pack up. You might be checking the clock. Your hand is hovering near your bag, and your brain is already halfway to your evening plans. But then you glance at your computer screen, and that momentum just stops. Look at what's staring back at you. There are 27 browser tabs open. Some are from this morning's urgent email. Some are from those to-read articles that you bookmarked last week. And others are ghost pages that you don't even remember opening. Your desktop, it's a graveyard of icons, half-finished products, and random screenshots you took 3 months ago. You can't even see your desktop wallpaper. The beautiful, calming image you picked out has been completely swallowed by digital debris. And that, my friends, is the silent, suffocating weight of digital overtime. We often assume that staying late is a badge of honor or a result of an impossible workload. But I want to challenge that today. Often we stay late not because the work isn't finished, but because we are buried under the clutter of our own organization or lack thereof. We lose 10 minutes finding a file. We waste 20 minutes relearning where we left off on a project because we didn't have a clear starting point. We lose our focus in the sea of open tabs. We are currently trapped in what I call storage mode. This is the habit of treating our computers like our junk drawer in the kitchen. We dump everything into a black hole. Screenshots, PDFs, links, folders named new folder number 3, and then telling ourselves, I will deal with that later. But later never comes. We are essentially hoarding digital noise, and it's costing us our mental clarity and our time. Today, we're going to flip the switch. We're going to move from storage mode, that passive dumping ground approach, to workflow mode. Workflow mode is about intentionality. It's about building a digital ecosystem where your tools serve your brain rather than forcing your brain to do all the heavy lifting of remembering, searching, and managing. It's about creating a space where when you sit down, you know exactly where your work is. And more importantly, you know exactly how to clear it away so you can actually enjoy your evening. In this episode, we're going to cover the desktop detox, reclaiming your visual workspace so you can actually see your wallpaper again, tab management, strategies to stop the browser tab rot that drains your mental energy, the architecture of retrieval, how to organize your files so you can find anything you need in under 10 seconds, and then closing the loop, creating a shutdown ritual that signals your brain that the workday is officially done. Your digital workspace should work for you, not against you. It's time to stop the extra hours spent managing the clutter and start reclaiming the time you've been losing to the chaos. So are you ready to stop drowning in your own files? Let's get into it. To help me tailor the rest of this episode to your specific struggles, which are those 4 areas: the desktop, the tabs, the file organization, and the shutdown ritual. In the comments, put which one you find that causes you the most stress at the end of the day. And hopefully this episode will help you in just a little ways. All right, phase 1, your desktop audit. it's time to reclaim your visual workspace. If your computer screen looks like a digital junk drawer, a chaotic explosion of icons, stray screenshots, and half-labeled PDFs, you are inviting cognitive fatigue before you even begin your first task of the day. Every time your eyes scan that cluttered landscape, your brain has to process that information, which drains your finite mental energy. I want you to embrace the clean slate philosophy. A clear, focused workspace is the precursor to a clear and focused mind. When your screen is orderly, you aren't fighting your environment. You're working in harmony with it. The biggest reason that our desktops get messy is that we feel pressured to create complex, granular filing systems that are impossible to maintain. We get overwhelmed by the decisions of where to put things, so we just don't put them anywhere at all. Stop over-categorizing. You really only need 3 primary folders to manage your entire workflow. First, your current term project. This is your hot zone. This is for anything that you are actively using this week. If it's a document, a set of slides, or a template you are engaging with daily, it lives here. This keeps your most urgent tasks front and center. Then you have your archive or reference folder. This is for completed work. Once a unit is finished or a project is closed, it moves here. It's off your main screen, it gives you visual breathing room, but it's safe, secure, and easily searchable when you need to refer back to it next year. And then you have your to sort folder. This is your holding pen. When you download a PDF from a curriculum site or take a quick screenshot of a resource, don't agonize over the perfect folder path. Just drag it into your to sort folder. Now, your to sort folder is only as effective as your commitment to empty it. This is crucial. You have to set a reoccurring calendar task for Friday afternoons or whenever your prep period ends to clear this folder. If it's still on your desktop on Monday morning, you've already lost the battle. Now, mine aren't necessarily named current term, archive, and to sort. I typically do mine by grade year. I've already set up my ones for the next school year. I have in my Google Drive, I have 26-27 school year, and inside that folder I have my IEP planning, I have my lesson plan folder ready to go. In my IEP planning, I have it set out by month. I have it set fall and spring, and then inside fall is August, September, October, November, December, and then my spring folder is January, February, March, April, May, and June. So it's all set out. I've got my template for my IEP planning already done inside each of those folders. That way I don't have to copy it and find it every time I move to a new month. My archive and reference, I have labeled previous years. It's just that simple. And then inside that, I have my 25-26 school year. I have previous schools, and it's all my lessons that I've used before are in there and organized. Now, granted, my to sort folder, that is just my main screen of my drive. And then I go through about once a week and I put them where they need to go. If I'm going to keep using it, if I'm not, I delete it, I clear it out. It helps my ADHD brain focus on what I'm doing. Now in Google Drive, you can also color code. So like my one for the upcoming school year, that folder is red, and then everything in there, each folder is different. So like my IEPs is pink, my lesson plans are blue, so on. My archive and reference, that one is usually like a black or a brown. That way I know it's there, but it's not a bright color to remind me that this is an urgent folder. Now, to finalize your audit, there's 2 rules for actual screen service. Shortcuts only. If an icon on your desktop is not a direct shortcut to a tool you use every single day, like your gradebook, your email, or your main browser, and this goes for your bookmarks bar as well, it does not belong on your desktop. Move it into your current folder or pin it to your taskbar or dock. That way it's there, but it's not taking up room on your screen. And I do the same for my bookmarks. I have folders for different bookmarks, so I have like my special ed, I have my work, I have my lesson planning, and then the bookmarks that I use specifically for those are underneath there. And then you have to do your purge. And this is where it gets hard for a lot of us. You think about teaching at the end of the year, you're going through your stuff and you're bringing stuff home for the summer. And your partner or your kids look at you and go, do you really need all of this craft stuff? Do you really need all of these notebooks? And you're like, well, yeah, I might use it someday. If you're not using it now, if a file has been sitting on your desktop for more than a month and it isn't one of those 3 folders, you likely don't need it. Either delete it or move it into your archive and review it later. Your desktop should be a workspace, not a storage unit. When you see your wallpaper, that clean, uncluttered space, you'll be surprised at how much calmer you feel the moment you log in. Now that we've cleared the visual clutter, do you feel more inclined to organize your files by project, for example, Math Unit 1, or by type, handouts, assessments, lesson plans, etc.? Like I said, I do mine by month or by week, depending on the unit. I do it by, my brain just died on me. I do it by school years, so all the stuff in my archive or my previous year's folder, I have set to, like, I have a writing folder, I have figurative language, I have previous lessons, I have short stories, and then I have it all in there in different folders within the folders, breaking it into the different units. That's just how my brain works. And it's funny because my mom was telling me the other day how she saw something on Facebook about the different types of teachers at the end of the year. You have the smiling one that's happy, you have the one that's sad because they're not going to see their students anymore, you have the one that is already halfway out the door, and then you have the one that's like me that is already planning for next year. I'm telling you, when I was in brick and mortar, I had my first semester completely planned out by spring break. I really did, and people used to think I was crazy. I was like, I'm not going to spend my whole summer planning when I already have what I need in my folders. I just have to reorganize it for this year and come up with a few new lessons that are a little more catchy. So that's just how my brain works. I am overly organized when it comes to work. My home life, not so much. But my teaching, I am overly organized. But how do you feel more inclined to organize? Are you more by project, or are you a by type kind of teacher? Put your answer in the comments. All right, on to phase 2. We've cleared your desktop, but now we have to address the beast inside the screen, your web browser. And I've already mentioned this a little bit by having my bookmarks bar separated out by the different bookmarks that are just not all cluttered. But if your browser looks like a crowded airport departure terminal with 20 to 30 tabs stretched so thin you can't even read the titles, you're going to be suffering from tab fatigue. Every time you leave a tab open, your brain registers it as unfinished business. It's the digital equivalent of walking through your house and leaving the lights on in every single room. You aren't using the rooms, but the drain on your energy, on your computer's RAM, is constant. Your brain is subconsciously pinging those tabs and keeping you in a state of low-level persistent anxiety. If you're using Chrome, Edge, or similar browsers, you have powerful built-in tools that most of us ignore, and I will admit, I did not know about some of these until this last year when I started working online. So we need to move from that linear, chaotic string of tabs to a structured workplace. My favorite thing that I started doing this year is implementing tab groups. Stop treating every tab as equally important. On Chrome, for work, I have different Chrome tab groups, and they are color-coded. Chrome lets you color code. I'm not sure about Edge or any other browsers, but because I'm a Google girl. But implement tab groups. Stop treating every tab as equally important. Right-click on any tab and select Add New Tab Group. Label them by category. Planning, grading, admin. Let me see what mine are. If you're a teacher, this will definitely help you out. Let me open that. So I have my teaching tab. I have my daily tabs, which is like my gradebook, my email, my class link, that stuff. I have my IEP planning docs tab, which is, it pops open to my Google Drive immediately to where all my planning docs are. I have my special education tabs where I have like our plan management and different tools and different documents that we use as a department so that I know right where they are. And like I said, I have folders as well. I have my work folder, which is where I have my Asana, my Nectar. I have my Insperity, which is our paycheck stuff. I have my documentation folder, which is where I keep my Google Forms bookmarked so that I can get to them easily for individual students, or I have one that says one-on-one meetings with Miss S for ELA and one for my math class. That way I can document that I had a one-on-one with a student. I have for specific students that, like maybe they don't come to our live lessons, or they say that they're going to, and I know mom's going to gripe about, well, they're showing up to class, but their grade's still low, and like, well, I've got documentation besides the attendance that they weren't there. I also have like our scorecards where we keep track of our quarterly goals. All that kind of stuff is in my documentation. My lessons is where I keep like my scope and sequence, all of that stuff. My sped tab, again, that kind of goes along, but I have a little bit more in my bookmarks tab. And then I just created one for summer, so it has like my summer content mastery schedule, course completion forms, all the kind of stuff that I need for the summer. So implementing those tab groups and bundling your specific bookmarks together, it keeps your bookmarks bar clean, it keeps it looking nice, and it keeps everything easy to find. And like I said, color code them so your brain knows instantly where it is. Your brain knows red is for lessons, blue is for admin stuff, whatever you need. And this is where you have the collapse advantage. The beauty of grouping is that when you open the group, you can click on it at the top and collapse it or open it, and it hides that visual noise. It hides all of those tabs. So now your focus is narrow while keeping those resources just a single click away. Now, you can't leave your browser open at the end of the day and expect a fresh start tomorrow. It creates a re-entry friction that kills your productivity first thing in the morning. So before you shut down, you have one non-negotiable job. Close every tab that isn't essential for work that you have planned for tomorrow. So like my daily tabs, that stays open. That's my email, that's my chat, that's all that stuff that I use every day. Class link, gradebook, email, those stay open. Everything else I close out until I come back and log back in the morning. The read later habit that we tend to have, like if we have an article or a resource open that you know you don't have time to process today, don't leave that tab open. Use a tool like Pocket or Instapaper, or even a specifically labeled read later bookmark folder. Stop using your browser as your to-do list. That's the most common trap that anybody in any kind of work falls into. When you use your browser as a memory aid, you are essentially offloading your to-do list onto your software. Your browser is a tool for accessing information, not for tracking your tasks. Now, finally, I want you to adopt a one-touch rule with this. Whether it's an email, a PDF you just downloaded, or a web page that you landed on, the rule is simple. When you have it open, you have to decide what to do with it immediately. You can archive it and put it in your archive reference folder where it belongs. You can act on it, do the task, send the reply, or fill out the form right then and there. Or delete it. If it isn't worth filing or acting on, hit the delete key. Stop that cycle of "I'll deal with it later." We all know that later is a mythical land where things go to be forgotten until they become a crisis. By making a decision in the moment you touch the file, the moment your mouse lands on it, you stop the clutter from ever gaining a foothold. All right, we've talked about your desktop. We've talked about your browser. But how often do you find yourself leaving your email inbox open as a sort of mental holding pen for those tasks that you haven't finished yet? And I'm guilty of this. I just told you I'll leave my email open. Granted, in the summer, it's not always pinging, and I have to turn off my personal email. I have to turn off those notifications. But how often do you leave your inbox open? Put your answer in the chat. All right, we are on to phase 3. We've cleaned your desktop. We've tidied up your browser. But now we have to address the long-term foundation of your digital life. As educators, parents, workers in general, we are constantly drowning in a deluge of files, handouts, and curriculum drafts, project drafts, whatever. If you find yourself searching through folders muttering, "Where is it?" or opening 3 different files named Lesson Plan, Final 2, you've already lost the battle. You've wasted minutes or even hours that you will never get back. It's time to move from searching to retrieving. The secret to a stress-free digital life isn't a better memory. It's a better system. We need to standardize how we name our files so that our computer search bar actually works for us instead of against us. So adopt the simple, consistent format. Year, month, date, _ subject, _ topic, _ version. Why the date first? Because when we start with the date in a numerical format, putting the 4-digit year and a dash, the 2-digit month, a dash, and the 2-digit date, your files will automatically sort themselves chronologically. No more guessing which version is the newest. The latest date will always float to the top. And instead of using like a fractions lesson, which math teachers, how many files do you have named fraction lesson? Use this instead. 2026-06-03 _math _ fractions _ V1. Once you start naming your files this way, you won't need to click through 10 subfolders to find what you need. You can simply hit your search, type in math fractions, and the exact files that you need will appear in chronological order. We need to stop that dangerous habit of saving local copies to your hard drive. Do you really want your laptop's physical memory being a disaster waiting to happen? The cloud is your safety net. Whether you use Google Drive like I do, or you use OneDrive, or you use Dropbox, or whatever you use, commit to keeping all your professional work synced to the cloud. This allows you to work anywhere at any time from any computer. Being a modern professional means your work should be accessible from your classroom desktop, your laptop at home, a tablet on the go, or even on your phone. If your laptop breaks, gets lost, or suffers a coffee-related tragedy, your school year shouldn't end with it. If your files are in the cloud, you can log into a new device and pick up exactly where you left off. Your work lives in the ecosystem, not in the machine. And let's talk about digital sustainability in terms of your own energy. We often spend so much time typing that we lose the creative spark that we had when we started. And I've talked about voice typing before, and I'm going to keep coming back to it because it is one thing that we can do to save our mental capacity. So speak your brilliance. Tools like Google Docs voice typing or advanced dictation software are not just for accessibility. They are for speed. If you're struggling to get a parent letter or an IEP note or a lesson summary written, try speaking it. You can articulate your thoughts much faster than you can type them. Let the tech do the heavy lifting. When you use dictation, you are letting the technology handle the mechanical process of data entry, which frees your brain to focus on the high-level creative work, the actual teaching and mentoring that only you can do. Your computer can't come up with the creativity part of it. That's all on you. But it can input everything as you are speaking your ideas. By standardizing your files and moving them to the cloud and using tools to speed up your production, you aren't just getting organized. You are ensuring that your professional life is sustainable, resilient, and ready for whatever the year throws at you. So between the naming convention and the cloud-first approach, what do you think will save you the most frustration when you are rushing to prepare for your class next week? I want to be completely real with you for a moment. I've said it over and over through this episode. I've been where you are. I still find myself there at times. There was a time when I first started my teaching career that I was the person with hundreds of files scattered across my desktop, overlapping and buried under layers of digital sediment. And I felt trapped by it. My mind couldn't handle it. My anxiety was off the charts because of what I was looking at on my screen. I thought the chaos was just part of the job, a necessary side effect of being a busy educator and mother. But when I finally sat down and pulled the plug on that mess, it was transformative. I didn't just gain a cleaner screen and a cleaner Google Drive. I realized how much mental energy I had been leaking every single day. Just by existing in that cluttered space. Clearing that digital slate gave me a sense of lightness and clarity that I hadn't felt in a long time. This journey isn't just about software or folder structures. It's about reclaiming your professional peace of mind. And I want to celebrate that with you. I'm calling these your plug stories. The moment you finally pull the plug on the chaos and decide that your digital environment deserves better. Whether it was the satisfying click of hitting delete on 500 dusty screenshots, or finally dragging those thousands of files into 3 clean, organized folders, I want to know about it. Transformation is always easier when you have a community to share with it. We are better when we learn from each other. I do have a Facebook page for this podcast. So if you're looking on Facebook, search Spoons on the Classroom under Pages and join us there. Share your wins. Did you finally organize your Google Drive? Did you implement the one-touch rule this morning? Tell us about it. Show us the transformation. I'd love to see the progress. If you feel comfortable, post your before and after screenshots on social media. And tag me. There's something incredibly motivating about seeing a cluttered, overwhelming desktop transform into a clean, calm, and productive workspace. It's the same idea of when you've let the house cleaning go for too long and you finally do that deep clean and you feel like you can breathe better. It's the same concept. And tag me. Find me on your favorite platform. Like I said, I've got a Facebook page for Spoons in the Classroom. Tag me in those posts. Share it to the page. When you share your successes, you aren't just celebrating a clean computer. You are inspiring the rest of us to take that same step. Your progress creates a ripple effect, reminding every other educator that it is possible to stop drowning and start thriving. Take control of your digital space. This is an act of self-care. It is a statement that your time is valuable and that your environment should support your brilliance, not hide it. So now you've heard the plan. Are you going to tackle your desktop audit as soon as you finish this episode? Or are you going to start in the morning? All right, we've come to the end of today's episode, and we have covered a lot today. From the visual landscape of your desktop to the deeper architecture of how you manage your information. But I want to leave you with this final thought. This isn't about being a perfectionist. None of us are aiming for an Instagram perfect, pristine computer screen. This is about protecting your peace. As educators, you spend the vast majority of your day pouring out your energy, giving to your students, collaborating with your colleagues, and navigating the endless demands of the school day. By the time you get home, or by the time you log off, you should have something left of yourself for you and your family. You deserve a workspace that doesn't demand more of that energy simply to exist within it. When you close out your computer today, I want it to be a conscious choice. I want you to close it because the work is done, because your digital space is tidy, and because you've closed the loops on your pending tasks, not because you are simply too exhausted to look at the clutter for one more second. The state of your computer when you shut it down is the state of your mind when you start your evening. When your desktop is clear, your brain can finally stop scanning for unfinished business. You give yourself permission to truly disconnect, to recharge, and to come back tomorrow, not feeling full of dread, but rather having a sense of control. Go reclaim your evening. You've earned it, and you owe it to yourself to make your environment reflect the hard work you put into your teaching every single day. I'll be here next week for another deep dive into professional sustainability. Until then, keep your folders lean, your browser focused, and your spirit high. Stay organized and keep